Hey, Dr. Holden, and today this is lab number 2 for anatomy. It's on the connective muscular and nervous tissue, and this is lesson number 8. So today you're going to do something very similar to what you did for anatomy lab 1 for the epithelial tissue, and that I have put several pictures of slides. And again, if you were in the lab, you would have had the box of slides out for loose connective tissue, for dense or fibrous connective tissue, blood, bone, etc., nervous and muscular tissue. And of the muscular tissue, you would have had skeletal, cardiac, and smooth. Remember that skeleton is on top of your bones, and the cardiac muscle is on the heart, and the smooth muscle is for the hollow organs of stomach, intestines, etc. So here we'll take a look at the first slide that I put on here, and this is labeled as fat. If you do a little bit of research, you'll find out that there's white and brown fat, and this is actually a brown fat. It won't matter for your academics here. And so that adipose is either in its own category or listed under loose connective tissue, and here it is labeled where the nucleuses are of the cell, and then the fat vacuoles themselves. And again, this is storage for your lipids or your fats. The next slide is your dense connective tissue or your fibrous connective tissue, collagen. And remember that this you're going to find holding up skin, puffing up your lips, holding up mammary glands, testicular area. And this, of course, starts to be produced less and less after the age of 50, and that's why the wrinkles start and the skin starts to sag. So all of those healthcare products on TV that plump lips or stop the bags under the eyes or make what they call crepey skin. Crepey skin is when the skin right around the age of 62, 63 starts to get, the leg tissue especially starts to get wrinkly, or the arm tissue starts to get wrinkly, and that's called crepey skin. So all of those healthcare products that are supposed to remove that, the problem is that they're topical, and collagen has to be inside the body in the cells to be able to, do that puffing action. So it's really a waste of money. All it is doing is a number of things, either causing an irritation of the skin or actually outright allergic reaction to the skin to cause that puffing. So save your money when you get older and don't buy them. Here's another form of your connective tissue, bone. And I always tell students that there are different types of bone, of course, your compact and your smooth bone. But having said that, here we have our compact bone, and it looks like volcanoes. And you'll see if you have a large slide under low power, you would see maybe under low power, maybe 4 or 5 of those little mini volcanoes. So that is bone. And this is a picture of a red blood cell, erythrocyte. And so red blood cells, very easy to identify as far as your connective tissue for blood. And then I put down examples of your 3 types of muscle group, your skeletal, your smooth, and your cardiac. And when we do cardiac tissue and when we do skeletal system and the skeletal muscle, we'll actually talk about how that muscle goes in and out kind of like this for muscle tissue. And so that's very critical. And so you have all of these little striations in here that help that back and forth motion, or otherwise your skeletal muscle wouldn't work. And then if we flip over to the cardiac muscle, it looks very, very different from either the smooth or the skeletal. And then nervous tissue is very difficult to identify for a student, and I will tell you right now, you won't have that on your test. So why we are going over this lab is that you're going to see many of these different tissues on your test. And again, I've already told you that you would expect on your test to have from your epithelial tissue simple and stratified squamous, cuboidal, columnar cells. And here, the things that I would expect here are things very identifiable. Adipose would be very easy for you to identify, collagen perhaps, but definitely red blood cells and bone as well. So now you're going to go through into the lab itself, just like lab number 1. And in this first image, I have made a notation that you should identify what type of tissue this is and use the numbers on the left-hand side, number 1, 2, and 3. The numbers on the right-hand side are asking you to identify various components of that. And again, you'll learn those components, but it'll be in a later section of the lab. Now take the time, go through the lab, and then after you finish it, save it on Google Classroom under lesson number 8. Thank you.